Hi, everybody. Steve the Missionary here. It is the Tuesday of Holy Week. So we're almost done. I can feel it. I've already decided that for Easter, I'm going to celebrate by eating a cheesesteak. And that's really brightening up my day, but also making this week just agonizing because I'm not having a cheesesteak until Easter. But on Easter, I will have a cheesesteak. So there's that. Over the weekend, I went to a friend who started volunteered, just became part of the cast of a passion play at the local evangelical megachurch. And so I was invited. I just decided to go, and it was kind of classic megachurch. Like it looked like a theater, and not like a worship space in any way. So that was fine. Like I knew that, but when I got there, it was amazing at the kind of things that were different between how a Catholic church would do a passion play versus how a Protestant evangelical megachurch would do a passion play. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So coming from the Catholic side of things, when we do a passion play, I think this is the main difference. When we do a passion play, it is a religious act. It is very, very close, but not specifically a liturgy. It is an active thing that the congregation is doing to relive, to show ourselves something very important to our faith. When a Protestant church does a passion play, they are doing an entertainment, a wholesome entertainment with a good message, but still it is a thing to be show. And the people sitting there are an audience seeing something. Whereas the Catholics, they are worshipers participating in a religious event. And I think that little core changes everything. It changes everything. So here's what the differences that I saw. So the number one thing is it lasted an hour and a half. But the cross, that physical cross that Jesus gets crucified on, is only on stage for like a grand total of 15 minutes. That's it, which was it was so bizarre. Jesus gets arrested about halfway through the show. They do the whole Sanhedrin, Pilate, Herod, Pilate thing, and then he walks off stage, or they take him off stage. Then they close the curtains. People stand in front of the curtains and then narrate what was happening. They narrate the whipping and they narrate the crown of thorns and all that, which in my church we actually do that. Like we whip the guy and then we put a crown of thorns on him. And then they sing a song with the curtain still closed, and in front of them walks Jesus with a bloodied up tunic and carrying a cross. And the guards behind him are whipping the cross in order to get the sound of a whip, but they never actually hit the guy playing Jesus, which big props to John, Mr. Murray, the guy that was playing Jesus in my hometown, because they whipped him and his back was all red, just from bruises after the whipping. Like, we expect our actors who play Jesus to feel physical pain. That's just kind of how it is. And then for us, the cross is likely going to go back and forth in and out of the crowd, or it's even a procession, right? The crowd is moving and walking with. This is why Stations of the Cross are a thing, right? So in this play, he just gets out, walks in front of everybody while they're singing a 3-4 minute song, and then goes off stage again. And then they narrate some more. They narrate the nailing. They narrate a few of the things he says. They narrate like, my God, why have you forsaken me? And then Jesus, and then the curtain opens, and Jesus is already nailed to the cross. And that's the part that weirded me out. I'm like, dude, nailing Jesus to the cross takes a good 10 minutes. Just the nails take a good 10 minutes. Happens at my church, and the whole crowd reacts, and you're like, I was watching these when I was a little kid. You're like, oh my gosh, that's so scary. Then Jesus is moaning and wailing. They sang another song. Jesus dies, and then they take him off. And this was the funny part. They do this whole thing where they take Jesus off of the cross, and these guys come up with a hammer and they knock the back of the cross as if they were going to knock the nail out the front of his hand. And while that was happening, the whole crowd goes, oh no, it's like bang, bang, someone's crying. And I'm like, dude, if you think that's a little much or that's intense, like, you ain't seen nothing yet. Like, I have a play for you, because we spend 10 minutes nailing Jesus to the cross. We stab Jesus in the side. We whip our Jesus. Like, we want to see it. We want to experience it. We want to know what it was like to be there. They did this really interesting thing where they, Mary, the mother of Christ, was a character in the show. How she can't not be, but they never used her name. She had like 2 or 3 monologues, but they never used her name, which was hilarious to me. They spent the first hour of the show just on the ministry of Jesus, and a good chunk of it on Holy Thursday. And my friend pointed out, like, we do that the day before our Passion play. Like, we have a whole night where we just focus on the Last Supper, and then we have a whole day where we just focus on the Passion of Christ. And I think it's very interesting and kind of funny that the play was called The Passion of Christ, and the Passion only took up 15 minutes. And then the curtains closed again. There was an altar call, and then there was an upbeat version of the Hallelujah chorus to close out the night. Very, very different from my play. We don't even have the resurrection in mind because they happen on Good Friday, and you celebrate the resurrection on Easter and not on Good Friday. So there's that. It was fun. I'm glad that there are other Christians, but oh man, I really prefer the Catholic Passion plays to the Protestant ones. All right, I hope you guys are having a blessed Holy Week. I will see you soon. God bless.